Welcome to Pangea Cyber's YouTube channel. In today's world of increasing cyber threats, building security into your software application is critical. As a Python developer, you must ensure that your apps are resilient to threats and the dreaded zero-day vulnerability. You need to consider authentication and access control, input validation, secrets management, auditing, monitoring, and a few other measures to build a secure development lifecycle. In this video, we'll use Pangea's Python SDK to secure a typical Django web application. Pangea gives you out-of-the-box microservices to embed security directly into your apps. The platform helps devs by delivering a suite of APIs to build secure user experiences. The tutorial is divided into three sections. First, we will look at sample Django web app structure used in the tutorial and add Python SDK as a dependency and configure the access tokens needed to call Pangea API services. Second, we'll integrate Secure Audit Log service into the login experience. And lastly, use the Secure File Intel service to find malicious files. At the end of each section, you'll be provided with a GitHub branch with a working copy of the code. Let's dive in. Clone the project. I am using VS Code to explore the project. You could also use any IDE. The sample app has a typical Django project structure. Here are the important folders. Like the pip file is used by the pipenv, a virtual environment to manage project's Python dependencies. And under source, you have accounts which contains a user model, app logic for the authorization and the HTML views, the app which contains the configuration settings like settings.py, etc. And we also have the environment file which is useful for us to add the access tokens, and then the content consists of the JS and CSS assets for the project. Main has the entry point, etc., etc. As you know, the regular Django project structure. We will be making most of the changes in the accounts and the app folders of the project. Now let us quickly see what's there in the project. We will install the dependencies and start the shell, run the migrations. As you could see, it's a very simple login app which contains a login page and create an account. Let us quickly create an account. You have some profile related details, but that's about it. It's a very simple Django app which contains a simple login experience. Now let us add Python SDK as a dependency. We can open the pip file and add the relevant SDK details, or alternatively install the SDK using pipenv install Python Pangea, so that we will add the relevant details. In the interest of time, what I'm going to do is to switch out to the branch has all the changes. We switched on to the, let's go and check the file changes. As you could see, we have Pangea SDK and Django Erwinon, which are the specific dependencies we want to add to this project. And you could run pip install, ppnv install to install these. Now that we installed the SDKs, we can configure the access tokens from the Pangea user console and set up the app to talk to the Pangea user console or the Pangea platform. We can quickly go to the and log into the specific page. Alternatively, you could go to pangea.cloud/signup to sign up to the specific website. I have my details configured, and that's why it shows the user console directly. Alternatively, you could sign up with GitHub or your Google account to log into the Pangea user console. As you could see, there are a bunch of services on the left side, which talks about compliance, data protection, intelligence, etc. We are going to integrate Secure Audit Log and File Intel in today's tutorial. But you could also use any other service by just switching out the API in the respective project that we are building today. Let's quickly get to the Secure Audit Log, where you could see the logs that are shipped or the user activity that is being shipped from the app to this particular place. Let us create a token because we are using in a Django project. You could select all services or the services that you really want to use it with. So I'm gonna use it with Secure Audit Log and File Intel, set a specific expiration date, create the token, and copy this token to paste it in the environment file that we have. Let us make a copy of it and change the name to reflect env. Notice that the file intel and the audit token can be, the access token for both of them can be one, or it can be different. It is up to your choice to kind of like choose what token you really want to do. And domain is a specific URL or a FQDN that you could find in the Pangea user console in the configuration details section. Once you have configured this, I believe you are all set to call the Pangea APIs. Even though we have done all of this, we haven't written a line of code to call the Pangea API services. Let us quickly get to the next branch to start integrating the Django app with the Secure Audit Log service. In the Secure Audit Log, you could see that we have imported the Pangea config. From Pangea services, we have imported the audit class. We have created a config object and also like an audit object from the audit token that we have created in the settings, etc. Now you could check that in the login view, we have added a single line of code which sends the audit log from the app to the secure audit log in the Pangea user console. So let us quickly start the app and see the details. Logged in, let us check if the log has the details. Yeah, user Pangea logged into the app. We haven't configured or given all of these details in the code, like the timestamp, the act or action. You could also configure all of this through the API that we called here, which is audit.log. You could do that and fill on those event specific details. So it's so easy to get started with the secure audit log. You could ship logs to it, user activity, or more important security event details that you want to be tamper proof. Now that we have integrated Secure Audit Log, let us quickly move to the File Intel service and integrate the File Intel so that when someone ships or when someone uploads a specific file, like say a KYC document or an important file that needs to be part of your database from a user point of view, you want that to be verified using the file intel service. Remember, we already created that access token related to the file intel and secure audit log at a single place. You could use the same access token, but you could also create another one and give out in the end file to call the specific file intel service. There are uh, different file intel providers that you could choose. You could mark a specific file intel provider as a default, or you could supply via the API what file intel provider that you really want to configure and get your file malicious status or the benign status. So let us quickly integrate that as well and check that. Now we will switch the branch in the interest of time. Notice all of these branches are already there in the GitHub repo. You could directly switch to a branch of your choice and then explore the code. In this file, we have made changes to many areas here. We have added a upload form and a success form. We have ordered also a place where you link this particular page in the top breadcrumb. We made changes and we added a class which is more focused on to the the upload view of the page, which is the upload view where the API is being called. The code says that the code contains details about a specific document form, and when you upload the document, it's getting saved in the assets folder under the content, and then you are calling the Intel API, which calls the file path reputation, the file path that the file path you give away here, and the provider is the reversing labs, using which you're trying to call and then get the specific result and display it on the site. Let us quickly check, build this one and check the app. Oh, okay, you need to run the migration because we have built a UI model. I think it's better. Okay, let us run the app. As you could see, there's a new menu item which says upload file. We'll upload a file which is the anti-malware test file called icar. It is used for testing the maliciousness or the anti-malware scanners. You could see that the intel for this specific file is malicious. It's a test file but marked for maliciousness, so it is done. You could also use any other file and find out if the status is benign or malicious, etc. Of course, not all files will have a specific can repo, but if you are sending, we are calling the file intel API in the Pangea user console or the Pangea platform and getting the result from the specific provider. You could easily switch out to a different provider and get the status of that file. Now, now that's it from this particular tutorial. You could integrate to other services in the Pangea user console, be it Redact or IP Intel, or use the beta services like Vault or User Intel. That's about it tutorial, and you have all the code in the Python Django example repo with different branches to try it. I'm dropping the community Slack workspace link for you to join the community. And if you have any queries on the tutorial or any other videos or SDKs about the platform, please feel free to ask us any questions. We are happy to help, and see you in the next one. Thank you.